Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today I saw something I just had to try out. I actually made a reference to this movie in a previous video and somebody caught it, which I was very happy for. But this one is called Spaceballs, the Sudoku by the Bard. So let's get into a little bit of a quote here in the system, and then we'll start with our rules. I don't know if any of you've seen Spaceballs, but it's probably one of the funnier movies. Mel Brooks, wonderful. Anyway. Sir, the radar, sir, it appears to be jammed. Raspberries. There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry. Lonestar. So, anywho, enough of my acting chops. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply in this thing. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Adjacent digits on the raspberry colored lines are jamming the radar alternate between the sets 147, 258, and 369. I believe those are called mod 3s or something along those lines, and all three sets are present in any group of 3 consecutive cells. So along any of these lines, you're going to have one each of those 3 sets that were labeled, and therefore these 3 would be one of each of those 3, these 3 would be one of each of those 3, and these 3 would be one of each of those 3. And we have odd and even. Digits in squares must be even, just like capturing the stunt doubles. Digits in circles must be odd, just like the Spaceballs. Again, references, if you've seen the movie, you would chuckle at as well. Thermometers, digits must strictly increase from bulb end, and the thermometers repeat the exact same digits to open the air shield. Very nice. So, we have to... Well, I don't know that you're going to have to know this reference to solve this, and I'm going to not necessarily do it, but I think it's going to come out where it ends up being, okay, so it's going to work out, so we don't have to worry, but you don't have to know the movie to know this, now that I've glanced at the actual puzzle here for a second. So those are our rules to Spaceballs, the Sudoku. Let's get started on this and figure it out. So let's start with our thermo, because we are pretty much given it here. So if you don't know, and the reference that I had mentioned in my set was actually that the code to open the air shield was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was the exact same code that President Scrooge had on his luggage. So we can put those in because we know this is a 5. These have to be 4, 3, 2, 1. And because they say that the exact same digits appear on all of the thermos, we can just put those in. And we get a doot in the corner. Oops, wrong way. Went the wrong way. Sorry. Well, there we go. So we get our start. Now, we have our odd and evens. So squares are even. This means these have to be from 6 and 8. This has to be from either 2 or 4, because we already have a 2 and a 4 here. And what do we have here? I don't know if we have a ton more we can put into these guys. And then we also have circles are odd. This one, it has to be either 7 or 9. I'll put that one in there. And these ones, we'll put 1, 5, 7, and 9. Then we'll start looking at our raspberry, our jamming. So now I'm going to kind of avoid basic Sudoku at first. Not that I don't think it's valid here, but I think we're going to have some other rules that we can look at instead. So what do we have with our raspberry jamming? Well, we've got a 6 and an 8 combo here. So we know that the 3 cells must be from one each, with 3 cells that are in a row on these lines are adjacent to each other, must be from 147, 258, and 369. Well, we have one of those digits from 258 and 369 in 6 and 8. So therefore, this must be from 1, 4, or 7, and we have a 1 and a 4, so this is 7. Now, we can also maybe say something else about this. Let's see if we can. We can also use these guys. I'll come to these in just a second. Now this 6 or 8 is going to line up with this 2 or 4 because they are 3 along from each other. So this 3 set of cells would be either the a low, medium, high, except it's not low, medium, high. We get the point of trying to make those 3 sets. And therefore, the next in line would be these. These are the same 2, so therefore this would have to have another value of the same set here. So every 3rd digit along the line will be from the same set. So if this has to be from 6 or 8, this can never be a 4, because therefore this would have to be either a 1 or 7, and it can't be. So this is 2. Now, if this is 2, this has to be 8 to go along with it, and therefore this has to be 6. And now this has to be from 1, 4, or 7. It can't be 7 because we already have it. It can't be 1, so we can just put in a 4. This one has to be from the 3, 6, 9 variety, and it can't be 6, so it's either 3 or 9. So let's put those in. What next do we have? Now we can start to look at these guys. So we know we have 3, 6, 9 here, so all of these have to be from 3, 6, and 9. Now clearly these two can't be from 3, and this one here just has to be 9. So therefore this has to be 6. These can't be in the 9 variety. Now we also know that this here is from a 1, 4, 7, so this has to be from a 1, 4, 7. It can't be 1 or 4. It also has to be odd because on a circle, so it is 7. These are not 7. So we get a 1, 5 pair here. This is going to be a given digit. We can also look at it in the concept of this has to be from the same group as 2, 5, 8 because it's 3 along. So if this has to be 2, 5, 8, this is either 5 or 8. There's a 5 here, so this has to be 8. And again, this has to be from the 2, 5, 8, so this has to be the 5, and this has to be the 1. And there we go. Now we've got what's left here, 6 and 9. Or we can just, no, that's not right. Is it? Yeah, 6 and 9, sorry. There's a 6 here, so this is 9, this is 6. That 9 gives us a 3 up here. And we know that these 3 digits have to be from 7, 8, and 9. Now, let's continue with our jamming. This is a 3, so this has to be from 6 or 9. It can't be 6, so it's 9. And then this one has to be from 3, 6, 9. We already put the 3 and the 9, so this is 6. And where can we go from here? Well, we might be able to start using our odds and evens now, because we're going to have some things looking at. So I'm going to put in the rest of these because it's going to start to work itself out. So squares have to be even. So these cannot be 2 or 6. This cannot be 2 or 6. So that creates, excuse me, a 4, 8 X-wing. So these can't be from 4 or 8. So this is either 2 or 6. Now we've got, what do you want to jump to? Yeah, let's jump into this, I guess. Because we know these are both from, we have one from the 1, 4, 7 pair and one from the 2, 5, 8 pair. So these two must be from the 3, 6, 9 pair. We can say this is not 3, but I can't do much more with that. And then this has to be from our 3, 6, 9. And it can't be 9, so it's either 3 or 6. Okay, so that didn't quite get us where we wanted to go. What about these guys? Since I'm looking at this row anyway, we have 3, 8, and 9. And this cannot be 8 because of the 4, 8 pair. Okay, so therefore, wait, no, I did that wrong. My bad. Let's look at that again. These have to be from 3, 6, and 8. I don't know why I put 9 in there. This can't be 8. So that is a 3, 6 pair. This is the 8. Okay. Now, do we have... No, we don't. We're going to be missing one of these sets, and it's going to be here. These have to be odd, so let's put those in. They're from 1, 3, 5, and 7. They can't be 3 or 5, so they're 1, 7, or 9. I didn't say 9. I meant to say 9 as an option there. And we might have to jump into a little bit of Sudoku here, I think. So I'm not sure if we can figure out which ones can be which. Let's take a look at it, though. This is either from 1, 4, 7, which would make this 7 and this 1, which works. Or it's from 2, 5, 8, and there's nothing reducing those possibilities. These two would have to be from 1, 4, 7. There's nothing reducing them. Or 2, 5, 8. This would have to be 2. and this would have to be 8. And again, well, this can't be 8. Okay, so we can use the Raspberry jamming. If this was the sets of 2, 5, and 8, we have a 5, 8 looking at this, so this has to be 2. We have a 5 down here already, so this would have to be 8, but we have a 4, 8 looking at it, so this cannot be from 2, 5, so it has to be from the 1, 4, 7s. And these have to be from the 2, 5, 8s, and we can't have a 5 because of that 5 there. Now, what does that leave us? It leaves us with the 1, 4, 7 in these 3 possibilities because we have all of these essentially as given digits. So this has to be from 1, 4, or 7. It can't be 1 or 4. So let's put our 7 in and do that. And I cannot do the sound effects of the jamming, or I'm not going to try to. I can do it, but it probably wouldn't be as good as you all want it to be. 4, 8 here. Let's put the 1 in here and the 4 in here. And can we go any further? I don't quite see. We can get rid of the 8 here, which means this is an 8. Now that is going to give us our 2 and our 8. So there we go. We've got 3 of our Raspberry jams figured out. Now, let's see what we can figure out for the rest of it. Now, can we do anything Sudoku related at this point? Not so far in those. It's probably, yeah, the 2s. Okay, so where does the 2 go in this one? It's got to go down here, which is going to give us our 6, which is going to give us our 9, which is going to get rid of our 9 here, and we have a 3, 6 pair now. Okay, so these are, yeah, we knew these were from 3, 6, and 9 already, so that's good. We still don't quite know which one is the 1, 4, 7 or the 2, 5, 8, but we may be able to figure that out by going back to the same process we used here. Now, it's going to be, these 3 are going to be either 1, 4, 7, which it seems like there's multiple ways that would work, or they're from 2, 5, and 8. And this would have to be 5. This would have to be 8. This would have to be 2. So that does work, actually. And like I said, the other way, the 1, 4s, and 7s, there's not a whole lot. We know this would be the 1, this would be a 4, and this would be 7. That does also work. So let's maybe look at these guys. They must be, wait, this can't be, oh, there's probably an easier way to look at it now. So we knew that these were, we had all of the 3 different sets, only for 2 of them though. So we know that whatever's left over is the one that we only have 2 sets in, which are these 2 digits. Now, 1, 4, 7, this is 1 or 7, so this has to be the 1, 4, 7 track, which means this has to be the 4, and this has to be the 1 or the 7. Now, that's going to give us all of these digits. And what else does it give us? So now we know these 2 are from 2, 5, 8. And yeah, so this one has to be 2 because we have a 5 up here and an 8 here. This 2, 5, 8 as well. We've got the 2 and the 8. We also have the 2 and the 8 here. So this is 5. Okay, there we go. Oh, the 7 here. I didn't even see that one. It's going to give us something here. This is 1. This is 9. That 1's going to give us that 7. Now, we're going to know what these 2 are, so we're going to have a given here. These have to be 6 and 8. Let's just put them in, and this will be 9. We could have done Sudoku on that as well, but why bother? Then we have this last bit of Raspberry Jam, and we have a final odd digit. I guess we can put the options in here. It's either 1 or 7, because it can't be 3, 5, or 9. So that we have that set up. So whenever we figure out the last little bits of it, we can get this all figured out. Do we want to try these 2? Yeah, because we can get a digit here. We have to put a 4 in here. We can't put it there. So this is 4, and therefore this has to be 7. what else do we have left over? I think let's look at these three across the board, then we'll have a foothold into this raspberry jam, and then we can try to go from there. So we have to have 3, 5, and 7. Can we rule anything out? This can't be 7. And that's pretty much it. So 3, 5, and 7, which means this has to be from 1, 4, 7, or, well, it could be anything because there's one from each option here, so that's not really helpful at all now that I look at it a little bit closer. Maybe there's going to be more we can do here. Let's just look at this digit first off. Could be 1 or 2. There's going to be a ton of options here. Yeah, 1, 2, 5, and 6. Again, one across each one. So we're going to have to figure out some kind of Sudoku here, I think. So let's take a quick look at that first. See if we can get it figured out. Okay, so we actually do see something with the 1s and the 2s when you look at them in conjunction. In the central box here, none of these can be 1 by Sudoku. Well, none of these can be 2 by Sudoku, so these are a 1-2 pair. So let's put those in. And we don't quite have anything given there yet. We do now, we start to tweak this down a little bit, which is good. We know one of these is 7. We kind of already knew that. Do we know anything about what goes in here? We still need a 6, so therefore this is a 6. And this is from the 3, 5, or 7. We can't have 5 or 7, so it is 3. We can remove our 3s from here, and this must be a 3. Alrighty. Now like I said, we are getting down to a couple of options now on this one. So this one is either from 4, 7, or 5, 8. Now it can't be 4, and it can't be 8. So we have a 5, 7 pair now. Right? Because this had to be the same as whatever was in the 1, 2 set up here. Yeah, 4, 7. Wait, hold on. Let me go back and do that again, just to make sure I didn't screw that up, because I think I might have. It has to be from 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, and 8. It's not 2 or 8. It's not 1. It's not 4. So it is 5, 7. Yeah, okay. It was correct. I think I just might have done a little shortcut there. And then we have this one has to be from 1, 4, 7 or 2, 5, 8. And we're going to have the same kind of thing happen, but it'll probably break this out. What we really know is that this is from the 3, 6, 9 variety. And it can't be 6, so it's, or 9. So this is 3. This one again has to be 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. It's not 1 or 2. It's not 5. It's not 4. And it's also not 7 because we have that 5, 7 pair. So this is 8 and this is 6 and 8. And we probably could have done that a little easier. But again, I'd like to do things harder than they need to be. Just for fun. Okay, so we don't have anything else now that we can... I think we're going to have to just be into Sudoku mode. Because I don't see much left in terms of the clues that we're working with. So let's jump through this and try to figure it out. There's got to be something along these lines. Yeah, so we need a 4 up here. That should finish our 4s. Our 5s. Not quite there yet. Our 6s. There. Okay, I didn't see this one. This is a 3 and a 6. So this is a 3. So does that give us the rest we need for the 3s? Yeah, that finished our 3s. So let's check out our 6s again. We know this is a 6. I think that's going to do our 6s as well. Cool, it does. Now our 7s, we end up with one of these having to be 7 and one of these having to be 7. So that puts us in an X-wing situation, but it also doesn't resolve this. I thought it might. It does not. Yeah, can't quite get there. So let's look at the rest of them. 8s are done. And what further? Doesn't look like we have anything there, which is interesting. Okay, let's go back to this then. This one is going to give us more information. I didn't finish this raspberry jamming line. We said these two were from the same ilk, so this has to be from 258, therefore it's 5. That's 7. That's 7. And we should have plenty more we can do to finish this one off. We need a 5 and a 9. I am finding that the coloring in here is a little bit confusing to my eye, but it's not too bad. This has to be a 5 or, oh, nope, not a 5 or a 9 there. This is a 5, 7, or 9, and it can't be a 9, so it's a 5 or a 7. What else do we have? This has to be from a 1 or a 2. This guy had to, oh, this is going to be the other one. This had to go with a 7, so it's a 1. I need to finish my Sudoku before I move along, because this is going to break everything up, I think. This is 5, 9, 5, 9. This has to be a 1. This has to be a 5, and this has to be a 2. And there we go. What am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie? Awesome end to this thing, by the way. Loved that puzzle. Absolutely loved it. Not very difficult, but it didn't need to be difficult because it was just a great reference to a beloved film. And I wasn't quite sure if you could even change the final notations on this, but now that I see that that's possible, it's awesome. So the Bard, awesome puzzle. Thank you for sharing this one and creating this with for us. And I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.